They were nearly on the brink of extinction, but what if saving them could save a nation too? This is the story of how Rwanda built its identity around protecting its gentle giants, the mountain gorillas. The Virunga Mountains, a misty chain of peaks where the air is thick with the scent of damp earth, spans Rwanda, Uganda, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, and is the last stronghold of mountain gorillas. By the mid-1980s, years of poaching, conflict, and deforestation had reduced the mountain gorilla population to a critical low. The stakes were high. If the gorillas disappeared, the world would lose one of its rarest and most extraordinary species. In the face of overwhelming odds, Rwanda made a bold decision. It would build its future and its identity around saving these gentle giants. The threats facing the mountain gorillas in Rwanda formed a perfect storm. As human populations grew and farmland expanded, habitats were further degraded. Poaching surged, driven by economic hardship and political instability. Some hunted to survive. Others fed the illegal wildlife trade, which prized infant gorillas for the black market. Rwanda's political turmoil, from fighting that erupted in 1991 to the horror of the 1994 genocide, unleashed waves of armed groups and refugee camps across the land, putting immense pressure on forests and pushing the remaining gorilla population closer to the edge. Conservation became dangerous work. Rangers risked, and sometimes lost, their lives protecting wildlife. But even in those darkest days, seeds of hope took root. Dian Fossey, the legendary primatologist, turned the world's eyes to these mountain sentinels. Arriving in the late 1960s, she revealed their gentleness and intelligence to a world that barely paid attention to their existence. In 1967, she founded the Karasoke Research Center in the Virunga Mountains, between Mount Karasimbi and Mount Basoke, dedicating her life to studying gorilla behavior and protecting them from poaching and habitat loss. Her legacy lives on through the Dian Fossey Gorilla Fund, which protects half of Rwanda's gorilla population and uplifts local communities, especially through education. Rwanda's turning point came not from a boardroom, but from a country determined to rebuild after tragedy, not just to manage the crisis, but to build a future around saving its most vulnerable. Conservation became more than protection. It became identity. One of the clearest symbols of Rwanda's commitment to this vision is Kwita Izina, the annual naming ceremony for baby gorillas launched in 2005. Conservationists, government officials, and international guests gather to give every newborn a name, a tradition that has grown into a national celebration. More than a photo opportunity, it's a public vow that every gorilla matters. But Rwanda's commitment runs deeper than a single ceremony. The government has poured resources into anti-poaching units, park infrastructure, and ecotourism. Conservation has become a central pillar of Rwanda's global identity, woven into its branding and tourism strategy. Protecting gorillas is no longer just about saving a species. It's about defining what Rwanda stands for on the world stage. The mountain gorilla population across its entire range, spanning Rwanda, Uganda, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, has grown from an estimated 254 in the Virunga region in 1981 to over 1,000 today. In Rwanda, strong anti-poaching laws are backed by dedicated patrols and targeted reforestation efforts, planting trees and controlling soil erosion to stabilize critical forest areas. The country has also found ways to balance tourism with protection. Its government has embraced what it calls extreme conservation. Every gorilla family in the park is carefully monitored by researchers and trackers, 365 days a year. This hands-on approach combines habitat conservation, anti-poaching patrols, and veterinary care for the gorillas. Additionally, individuals wishing to engage in gorilla trekking must obtain a permit, which costs $1,500 per person, to hike into the mountains and spend up to 1 hour with the gorillas. The treks are operated by the Rwandan government, which shares 10% of the revenue with the surrounding communities. Few countries have made a single species so central to their national identity. In Rwanda, the mountain gorilla is more than an animal. It is a symbol of resilience, a living promise that even the most fragile can endure. But challenges remain. Climate change and disease risks will always test Rwanda's resolve. Balancing conservation, tourism, and growth demands constant vigilance. Rwanda stands as a powerful example of what happens when conservation is treated as a strategic investment, not just charity. Community involvement is key. When local communities have a stake, protecting nature becomes a way of life. By weaving conservation into its national identity, Rwanda has shown how deeply rooted pride can drive lasting change. Rwanda's story reminds us that protecting what's vulnerable can shape who we become. By choosing to stand guard over its gentle giants, Rwanda found a way to heal and to lead. Rwanda's journey is far from over. The country continues to invest in conservation, seeking the delicate balance between protection, tourism, and development. But the transformation is undeniable. From a nation once defined by tragedy, Rwanda has emerged as a global leader in conservation. By choosing to protect its most vulnerable inhabitants, Rwanda has redefined itself and offered hope for the future of both its people and wildlife.